phone just buzzed too. So what do you bet my dad's gonna jump on? Oh, hey, my son's live streaming. I totally gotta go check that out.
That was funny though last week. That was cool.
That was cool. My dad is definitely a cool guy. I have to give him that. That was fun because I didn't know he was like on the phone with my mom and he comes out. He's like, "Are you guys live streaming right now? Oh, sweet!" I'm like, "Okay, great."
Have you got it on the toggle thing, or you still got locked?
I got it locked on my phone. Let me take it off. There we go.
Because so far I'm not seeing any. It's not switching on my end at all. So I don't know
it's
if it
it's switching on my end.
is
So
it.
don't worry. Yeah, it's working. Unlike that last time.
What do you mean backup started? Stop that.
Come
Yeah, I
on,
just
Jimmy,
looked
you're
at the
supposed to
stream.
have
It
this all
looks
done
it's
before the
toggling.
stream started.
So how you been doing this week?
Hanging in there. What about you?
Yeah, hanging in there. Get my Jay's 2 cent shirt going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Hey, don't steal my line, all right?
Yeah, boy.
Rip headphone users at this point in the stream.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, we already have 2 likes and one person is watching. That's probably me
Yep, or me.
for you.
Did you tweet it back out again?
I tweeted it out earlier. Let me just double check. Nothing came in. Just give everybody a minute or two to get over here. Butts over to my channel now, people. We live. I'm gonna retweet your tweet. And then
Tweet.
oh well.
Yeah, stupid moths are in here. Buggy.
His favorite.
I see Lucky 13 is in the house. How you doing?
We have people. Oh my gosh, this is
Oh,
incredible.
did you have it marked as public?
Yeah, it's marked as public.
Okay. I know here lately, I'm not the only person. There's been a few people talking about that it automatically goes to private.
It automatically goes to private, but then you can change that in the settings. I think the problem is people don't realize that, and then, me add in my donation link really fast.
So Curtis wants to send you the link so you can come on here with us.
Heck yeah, that'd be awesome. Versus like, heck no, I don't want to do that. I'm too camera shy. That's why I want you guys to do that project without me. I'm kidding, Curtis. I'm kidding. I'm just teasing you. It's all good, man.
If anyone wants to donate so I can get PB and J's, please do so here. You need to get the super chat going on.
Heck no, I do it old school style.
Yeah.
Come on, what do you expect? You think I'm some like tech whiz kid or something like that?
Curtis is like, no thanks. He doesn't want to come on.
That is very sad, Curtis. That is terrible. How could you? I'm kidding.
I'm going to tell Sage, Curtis. I'm going to tell Sage. She's going to want to, why don't you want to go on there?
Oh, man. All right. Do we want to get started with tonight's topic? Because we at least have one person watching at this point. Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you very much, Curtis. Yeah, might as well go ahead and get started.
Okay, so the topic of tonight's stream is crowdfunding as evil as people think? And the premise behind this stream was, obviously, it seems like almost every week now there's somebody, and we're not naming names here, there's always somebody running around screaming from the treetops that some crowdfunding campaign's either a scam or crowdfunding's dead already or crowdfunding just sucks in general. And I guess kind of the thing that we're trying to show is yeah, it has problems, but pretty much there is no other option besides personal savings, illegally getting money somehow, which I'm not even going to say because people already probably know that, or crowdfunding to start a company. And the first thing is, it's like people are like, well, can't you self fund it? Well, nowadays people have as much debt as they used to have in savings back in Jimmy's day. Oh, thanks a lot, Danielle.
What's this?
And to just rub it in, I have one right here, and I'm going to start eating it.
Show us what that looks like up close. Come on, show it to the camera.
Oh, man. Oh, this thing is so good. I'm dripping crumbs on my laptop keyboard, but it is so worth it.
You got to do it like the Hodge twins. Say, look at that. Look at that. Respect it.
The whole stream has just been sabotaged by Danielle.
Calvin, you get no donations from me now. You suck. That's
oh,
funny.
man. Okay, give me 5 minutes to recover and we're good.
Don't choke on it. Whatever you do, that's a good one. White Tigress, don't let me stop you. Please continue. Hey Chris, how you doing? Welcome in.
I hope you're not in too much trouble sneaking on tonight's live stream while me and Jimmy and Danielle talk about PB&Js and Curtis blackballs me for talking about them on camera.
Hey, how come none of them have wrenches? You need to start handing out some wrenches, man.
Wrenches?
Yeah, what you do is you go to the right of the chat, right to the name where the little lines show up. Click on it, and then it'll show where you can make them a moderator.
Oh yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Hand out some wrenches. I see Jeffrey's in the house. How you doing?
What's up? Okay, so back on topic after the whole PB&J crisis. What I was going to say was the main problem with people these days is funding. And the thing is, it's like your generation and before, it was very common to have savings. Am I correct?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, in your generation and before, it was very common for people to have savings. They didn't go to the bank and get a loan. They saved up to, buy an item, and that's how they did it. Nowadays, it's the exact opposite. Everybody runs to the bank to get a loan. And the thing is, especially after the mortgage crisis that we had and the short-term lending crisis and just all that financial crap that we went through a couple of years ago, banks and stuff and financial institutions just in general are extremely nervous now to hand out money, and I don't blame them. So the problem is you can either borrow against your credit cards, but you're probably already in debt on that. You probably only have a couple grand left in money, and the interest on that is just exorbitant. You might as well go find an Italian loan shark and try your luck with him. He might have slightly better rates, You
might be missing a few fingers or an arm at the end of it, but
if it saves you a couple $1,000s in interest, maybe it's worth it to you. Who knows? But, so there's that. But then it's like if you go to a bank with a loan, you go, hi, I've got this idea for this product. Like, we'll just use my little brass locomotive shell here for an example. Hi, I have an idea to make, custom brass locomotive shells for Bachmann ON30 Davenport gas side rod locomotives, and I'd like a $10,000 loan so I can go out there and start making these. The bank is going to take one look at you and go, sir, we're not interested. Have a nice day.
Right.
And
that's where crowdfunding comes in to really, it's that stopgap. It's that that opportunity to hand it out to the masses to say, okay, I've got this idea. If you like it, give me some money.
Exactly. But the sad drawback is with things like that is, I speak this as somebody who's worked in the manufacturing sector, who's also helped make a product that went on Kickstarter, at least one, if not more, I can't remember. And, I mean, in the case of the product that was on Kickstarter, the guy was like a really smart designer, one of those people who's like, his kid learned SolidWorks in like 5 minutes from him, and designs up this little pocket protractor and ruler combo. And they made a prototype of it, and then they decided they were going to put it up on Kickstarter, and the thing just like blew up. Like every Kickstarter idea, you go, hi, I'd like $10,000, and you get like $100,000, and you plan for, say, 10 items, and now you got to make 100 items.
Yeah.
That's literally what happened. Is the shop that I was working at was prepared to make a smaller batch of them, and when it was bigger, it was like, okay, fine, that's no big deal. But the problem was, all of a sudden, his little Kickstarter project literally blew up. And thankfully,
Yeah.
the dude was able to pull it off because it was very simple. But, the problem is people almost need to over plan
Right.
for items, because the problem is when you increase the items, your manufacturer might have been ready to make 10 units, but now they got to make 100. You've totally turned the tables on them. And now, the method that might have been relatively efficient for making 10 of them would not work for a production run of 100, and so on and so forth. So,
Right.
this is not to fault anybody, but that's one of the ways that I feel that crowdfunding goes wrong, is people and the manufacturers don't have a good enough dialogue about what's our backup plan if we get more in. Do you know of a company that I can have on, speed dial, where if I exceed this number of items, I can call them up and they have an idea of what I want. Maybe I have a small deposit with them and it's a gamble I'm going to take. But if I need to, I can call them up and go, hey, dude, I've got an order for 250 of my widgets. Can you crank them out by this date? And this company specializes in larger production. And they go, heck yeah, dude, send us the money and we'll get it going.
Right.
That's the thing, is a lot of people don't put that in the forefront of their mind, is that things might get bigger and it can be a problem.
Right.
So it's not to diss anybody, but it's a way that it goes wrong.
Right.
But one of the links that I have in the description, and I'm not going to put it up on the screen at this point, but it's like, this is the very basic steps for how to qualify for a small business loan. And obviously there's sub rules and things like that, but this is the very basics. So if you're ruling out crowdfunding, you have to, one, build a credit score, which means you have to, have a loan, have a credit card, make regular payments, use it to build up, to show that you are dependable with money. Two, you got to know the lender's qualifications and requirements, and I'll bet you they aren't just throwing out money willy-nilly anymore to people. Three, you
No.
got to gather your financial and legal documents, and if it's still in the hi, I've got an idea, then I have like one prototype that I knocked out of my garage, the bank's going to go, that's cute, we're not interested. Legal documents, if you're a corporation or anything like that. The big one is developing a strong business plan. That's something a lot of people are lacking, and as somebody who's taken an economics course and is in a financial accounting course right now, business plans are everything. If you don't have a rough estimate of what you're going to do, what's going on? Oh boy.
I like Curtis's still, and don't get hacked by Equifax.
That's a very good point too. And then besides that, you also need to,
second that.
I heard that. And then the other one is providing collateral. Well, if you're just living in an apartment and all you have is this and a hacksaw and a file and some brass and stuff that you're using over at the local makerspace, you don't really have anything to put up as collateral just in case it doesn't work out, and the bank wants to try and get their money back. It pretty much means your only options are loan sharking it or other not so desirable, legal, whatever means of making money. The other option is standing on the corner with a sign saying, hi, I want to start a crowdfunding campaign. Please give me money, and I might deliver you a product in a couple of years. Da, 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 da. Or the bank is out. You try nagging your friends and family, but they're probably going to look at you and go, do the same thing as the bank. That's cute. Here's the door. So yeah, you pretty much at this point with the way our economy and society is, you have no choice but crowdfunding, like it or not, unless you're some rich dude who knows some angel investor who's like, oh, here, dude, here's some money. Just go start your company. Unless you have something like that, you pretty much have to use crowdfunding. Yeah. Like it or not. And I respect people's, hesitations with it. Don't get me wrong. I've only backed up a couple of things, but it was very low investment. And if it didn't turn out, it was no big deal.
Yeah. I mean, in today's age with the crowdfunding and everything that way, I don't see a problem with a business that wants to take and further themselves, and they just don't have the means of getting a loan or anything like that. I don't see a problem with them going on crowdfunding and doing that. And I can imagine the crowdfunding companies, like for, let's say, Kickstarter, I can't see how they would frown upon an established company offering a product that they are about 99% sure they're going to deliver. I can't see them saying, no, we don't want your money, because they get a cut of that. Exactly. What kind of a cut do they get?
That's a good question. Let me look that up really fast.
I've always wondered that. I'm just a gut feeling. I'm going to guess it's between 10 and 20%. Somewhere in there is probably what their cut is.
Well, you also got to factor in, because here's the thing that, here's something that the person that I knew was talking about, is he goes, the problem was between the Kickstarter fees, and I'm estimating here because it was a while ago, between the Kickstarter fees, the money transferring fees, and some other stuff, he goes, it was easily like 20% that that got chopped out. Okay, so here's the way it works. This is for the United States. Let me put it on screen share really fast.
Okay.
Sure. So fees for the United States. If your project is successfully funded, the following fees will be collected from your funding total. Kickstarter's 5% fee, payment processing fees between 3 and 5%, and if funding isn't successful, it's no fees. But here's the way it works. The Kickstarter fee is 5% of the total funds raised, plus a payment processing fee of 3% plus 20 cents per pledge, and pledges under $10 have a discounted micro pledge fee of 5% at 5 cents a pledge. So already Kickstarter is eating up 8% of your income, 8 to 10%, depending upon which pay bracket you're in. Plus, they're charging you a set fee every single time somebody pledges. So they are, I'm not faulting Kickstarter on this. I totally understand they have to, keep the lights on in the building and stuff. Right. So I'm not faulting them on this by any means. And that's actually a very cheap amount when you consider it in the grand scheme of things. But that still adds up very quickly. I mean, we'll just make it easy math and say it's 10% when you factor in the fees. 10% adds up pretty fast, and that's the other thing people don't consider is, money handling fees add up, kind of like in Joel's Patreon video when he's like, Patreon's making like 15 or 20 cents of every dollar that you donate goes straight to Patreon.
Right.
It's just like, whoa, they're making
I'm just looking up here, and Kickstarter employs 131 people in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Yeah, Greenpoint and Brooklyn, it looks like. So, they've got a pretty good sized team that they've got to support. The people don't work for free.
No, you got to pay the programmers. You got to pay the building fees, plus rent, plus fees for the employees, plus the employees, plus advertising, plus definitely legal, I would think, would probably be a good portion of the company right there. It's you get what I mean.
Yeah. I see we got Brandon and we've got Alex in the house as well. Hello guys, how you doing?
it feels good to actually have some people in the chat for once. Unlike that time when my dad came on and it was just like nobody. That was like the world's saddest stream ever.
There was 6 people for the entire stream.
And that was like right at the end. Rick Cruz is in there, like right when we were crashing, and I felt so bad. Like, oh, I'm so sorry, Rick. We're gonna have to cut the stream now, right when you get on. I feel bad for you, buddy.
Now, I'm not
But
going to name any names, but the thing is, I've watched where some people are complaining that, Kickstarter is not meant for businesses to use. It's meant for individuals to use, which I agree. That's what it was intentionally made for, was to support those who were needing to get started up. But I think it's slowly evolving into something more. And I don't see Kickstarter or any of the other crowdfunding places coming to the point where they're going to tell businesses, no, thank you. We don't want your money. They're going to say, you know what? I know you're going to complete a campaign completely. You're going to get funded. So why not? Because it's guaranteed money. Because like you said, if they aren't funded, they pay nothing, right?
right, nobody. The nice thing I will say about Kickstarter is, if the project does not get funded, nobody gets charged, which is actually a really respectable thing that they do that, because you'd expect other platforms to be like, screw that, you hosted on my website, we're still taking a cut. So I actually give Kickstarter a ton of kudos for actually being like, look, we're only going to take your money when the project is fully funded, which adds in another layer of protection to people. So you can't run a scam and just run off with the money. You have to get it fully funded, or the whole thing just dies right there. Nobody gets any money. Nobody gets charged for anything. And that's actually a really good protection measure for all parties involved. So I give Kickstarter a ton of credit for that, which is really smart on their part.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why when Robo came up and they said, "Hey, we're going to go back to the roots, go back to Kickstarter and introduce this new printer," I partly was out of nostalgia, but I imagine there was also that deal where Kickstarter was probably welcoming it because they knew it was a successful campaign before, and for it to be a successful campaign again, I'm sure they were just really pleased with it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to comment on the machine itself. I
Yeah.
don't have any personal experiences with it. I mean, I'm not even going to go into that. But yeah, I understand what you mean. It's not like Kickstarter has sent out a blast. There's not been any press notifications from Kickstarter going, whoa, 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 whoa. Big companies want to use this? Screw you. We're not interested. There's
No.
nothing that's come out from them. I mean, you could argue, well, in the rules it says, but at the end of the day, if the company wants to shut a campaign down, and they have done that numerous times because it was proven to be a scam, they really wanted to, they could shut the campaign down like that, but they've decided not to. And it's kind of like what you said when we were talking before the stream a couple days ago. You said it's a little bit like when eBay first came out. It was everybody who couldn't sell their crap at a yard sale trying to sell their crap online, and some person was going to buy it. And nowadays, eBay started out as kind of like mom and dad's. Johnny just moved off to college and he left behind a bunch of crap he can't use. So mom and dad decided to, remake, to, boost up their retirement fund a little bit by selling off some of Johnny's old crap. So they just throw it on eBay and sell it. And nowadays, eBay has pretty much just become like a combination of
Amazon and a garage sale.
Exactly. It's become like the online marketplace for stuff. And I use eBay quite often to buy things. I use both the quote marketplace side where you've got like a bunch of people selling the same stuff. And then I also use the onesie twosie side. Like when I bought, let me show you the slightly broken, but still really cool. Bought it for a birthday gift for myself. The Muni Boeing LRV. It was made like 20 years ago as a model. This is definitely the garage sale side of eBay.
Right.
The okay, I got it off Amazon, but the point is $60 action camera that I use, $50 action camera that I use. This thing is from the non-garage sale side of Amazon, if you know what I mean. But, I use both sides and I like them. It works great.
Jeffrey Jerusalem wants to know, how do you talk and type without making it look like you're typing? I've been wondering
Magic.
the same thing.
Magic.
Magic.
If y'all can't see where my hands is, my hands can be typing the whole time. My laptop's got a really quiet keyboard, so I can just be like, secretly typing stuff out, and it's awesome. Nobody
He's a
knows.
ninja.
Dude, I am a ninja who lives off PB&Js.
Let's take another look at that PBG, that sandwich. Come on.
I'm gonna try and not get PB&J on my laptop while I do it. Look at that.
Show us one of those. Show us a strawberry. There's a strawberry in there somewhere.
It looks a little not so great because it's sat for about a day, but yeah, there's a strawberry in there. Look at that. Look at that.
That thing has like big slices of strawberry that they put in with that. It's really good.
Oh, heck yeah. Cinnamon bread, strawberry slices, crunchy peanut butter. Oh, those things are great.
Too bad Angus wasn't on here.
Oh man, he loves those things.
He'd pay the shipping to get them there.
I was expecting him to send me a message. Hey mate, can you send me some of those PB&Js? Here's my hotel address.
Oh no, Jeffrey's allergic to peanuts.
That sucks, dude. Oh crap, wrong link. Oops. Hey, what's up, Daniel?
We got Daniel in the house. How you doing, my friend?
So do you want me to tell really fast the PB&J story with Angus?
Sure.
So pretty much what happened is we're coming home from being like running around San Francisco and going back to the house so he can grab his luggage and say bye to my grandmother and then kick him off at the airport. And we swing by the little corner market, which is a couple blocks from where I live. And we go in there and I got something to drink and he grabs one of these. He's like, have you ever had these? I'm like, no, but it's probably good if they make it down here. He goes, yep, fair enough. So we're walking up the hill to get to the house and he's eating the thing. He goes, oh man, this thing's like the best PB&J I've ever had. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, it's also my first one. And I'm like, the heck? No sooner does he say that than he's whipping out his phone, tweeting his girlfriend going, oh man, I just had like the best PB&J ever. And I'm like explaining, and his girlfriend's like, oh man, oh that sounds really good. I'm like, uh-huh. A couple of days later, I go and try one for the first time. I'm like, holy crap, dude, that thing is good.
Now, every time we see him, he always has peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in his backpack.
Yeah.
They are so good.
We met up on Sunday with Fleet Week, where the Navy Blue Angels come out and things like that. And on my way over there, I'm like, let me see if I can get some PB&Js. And Jimmy's all like, yeah. Cruise up there. And I'm like, Jimmy, I got some PB&Js. He's all like, oh.
I kid you not. It looked like a drug deal going down. It was hilarious.
I got my blue free drawstring backpack that I got from CNC like 2 years ago at Maker Faire.
He's like,
pulling it out like,
I got the good stuff. I got the good stuff. Except he wasn't saying stuff.
I got the PB&J right here, Jimmy. Yeah. But in short, to describe it before I go back off to the main topic, it's 2 thick slices of cinnamon bread with strawberry jelly and strawberry slices inside, and it costs you all of $2. Mm-hmm. That's right, $2.
They're definitely worth $2. Definitely are.
I mean, honestly, you almost feel like you're like ripping them off for $2, but that's what they charge, so that's what they charge. Yeah, I could ship them to Angus, but I think they'd actually go moldy by the time they got to him. And as it is, I don't even know his shipping address because he doesn't have like a proper mailbox over there, which is kind of a bummer.
The other thing is, too, the customs would be like, oh, we've got to seize this.
They probably would, because he was telling me there's a lot of restrictions on what he can and cannot bring, like fresh food cannot be brought back into the country because of the risk that it poses, which is totally understandable. He goes, he got like some peanut toffee stuff over at the Ferry Building, and that was fine because that was pre-processed food, but fresh stuff like this is definitely a big no-no. I mean, you could eat it on the airplane flying over there, that's one thing, but you can't like actually bring it into the country. customs found out they would not be happy. Well, you could, but you had to fill out a bunch of paperwork, and they probably wouldn't let you bring it in anyways.
Right. So is it good?
Oh, heck yeah. That's from like a day ago, and I just don't care that I'm talking with PB&J in my mouth, because you know what? It is so good. And what I'm going to say is entirely off the record right now, but, you know, I have visions of Maker Faire next year, getting like 20 messages from people going, yo, dude, can you bring some of them PB&Js in? I'm going to cruise down to the local corner market and be like, hey guys, can I have 40 PB&Js, please?
You already got my order.
Oh, heck yeah.
Cat tip Girl Scout cookies tagalongs. The Girl Scout cookies are proven to have crack in them because they're so addicting.
Wait, what about that crack bowl that you got that you forced me to try over at Panda Express?
All those things are so good. Now I'm paying for it though, so I got to go and have a blood test done on Thursday morning to check my blood sugar and all that. So I'm having to be very, very good this week, and every day I'm like, I'm sure craving one of those bowls.
Right afterwards, Jimmy's running to Panda Express and getting it.
Yes, if you ever go to Panda Express, get the bowl with the fried rice, the teriyaki chicken, and the teriyaki sauce on it. Mm-hmm. It's like crack.
I can vouch for that, actually. Being that I've never had Panda Express until then, you know, it was some good stuff. I'll put it that way. Okay, do we want to jump back to the original topic? Like,
yeah, well, might as well. Not you're done with your sandwich, or do you have another one in your backpack?
No, I still got about a quarter of the sandwich sitting there, just so I can force you guys later on. I'm just gonna change the title to Kickstarter and PB&Js. You know, that's the way it is.
Remember what? I know it probably wasn't on Kickstarter, but which one was it where the guy was like, "I want to make chocolate chip cookies," and they took some crowdfunding thing where they paid like $1,000 so they could go get the stuff to go make stinking cookies.
That was GoFundMe.
Was it?
Yeah, that was back in the days when, you know, GoFundMe was like a new thing, and there were definitely people, and there still are people who use it for honorable, you know, charitable reasons, which I totally am for.
Yeah,
you know, that whole thing. But then I remember what happened is, it was really memorable because this is back when people were like totally abusing the crap out of it, going, you know, donate money so I can buy a better GPU for my computer that's probably better than 3/4 of everybody else's computers, but I need the newest GPU anyways. So they'd put a GoFundMe on there, and then they'd spam like every big tech channel with, promote my little GoFundMe account. And they're like, screw you. What do you have to offer? You know, it's kind of like everybody was trying to parasite off people's generosity. So I remember Jerry from Barnacle Nerdgasm, I remember as to poke fun at it, he did it strictly for humor. He even said, this is strictly for humor. This is not an actual thing. Please do not donate money. He made this totally ridiculous thing where it's like, I want to buy a diamond encrusted GPU pizza thing, like just put in a bunch of crap into the description as a joke.
How much money did he pull down?
I forget, but it gets even better because then he like starts getting annoyed at people because they're donating money because this was back before when Patreon wasn't a thing and stuff like that. And he's like not really sure why people were donating money because it was back before that thing. And then it was funny because he gets all annoyed on Twitter, like, people are donating money? I said not to. And then he ends up being like, the heck with it, you know.
I believe he ended up donating the money, didn't he?
Yeah, he ended up doing what I thought was I would have been totally okay if he had kept it, but he's like, I can't keep this because
that would have been one awesome pizza.
Yeah. So he ended up donating.
It was well over 1,000. I just don't remember what the dollar amount was, but it was a lot of money.
he ended up doing a really honorable thing, which I give him a ton of props for. He took all the money and I think a little bit extra from like YouTube ad revenue and actually took it over to Seattle Children's Hospital. And I think he ended up using the money. He called them up and he was able to give like all the volunteers over there like a really nice pizza party with the money.
That's right. That's right. I remember
So
that now.
I had, and I still do have a ton of respect for the guy based off that one thing that he did where he started something as a joke. People took it seriously even though they knew it was a joke, and then he turned around and used their generosity to help, help out an institution that definitely helped out him and his family. So I'm like, dude, that is totally awesome. It's a little bit of a sidetrack, but it goes to show that, with crowdfunding, there's always people who are going to abuse it, but there are those who kind of, see the more charitable side to it or just understand how to use it in general.
Right.
But going back to the whole Kickstarter thing, I'm going to kind of go off on a little bit of a slant here. I think, well, one thing that, let me pop it up because it was actually it was something me and Jimmy were talking about before the stream started. It was a article that TechCrunch did, and I'm not a giant fan of TechCrunch to be honest, but is it popped up on the screen? Let me see. Let me know if you guys can see that fully on the screen. I'm trying to make it all work. But the article, it's also linked in the description. It's how to fail a Kickstarter even if you get funded. And the person made a really, really good set of bullet points I'm going to read off really quick. It's time to consider the next generation of crowdfunding. If we want this innovative economic vehicle to continue to grow, we need new rules and expectations to restore the balance of trust between project creators, backers, and crowdfunding platforms. Project creation teams should be assigned a relevant experience grade before their crowdfunding campaign goes live, especially in high-tech and manufacturing-centric projects. This would allow backers to better understand the level of risk of deliverability there is to projects they are backing. I'm assuming this would be kind of like either through the crowdfunding site or through a third party that audits it to be like, okay, how good are you manufacturing, setups? How prepared are you for potential increases in, quantities requested, things like that. So it's not like the person's just coming up with a litany of generic, these are ways it could go wrong. This is actually a third party, I'm assuming, being like, these are things that, almost kind of like an analysis company comes in there and goes, okay, doing this right, not good on that, you get a B, sort of thing. Then the second one was project creators should set clear communication expectations with their backers, and requirements for monthly meaningful updates should be enforced by crowdfunding platforms. Really good one, because the problem is it's kind of twofold. People will be all like, oh, I don't, I didn't get an update in 5 minutes. Oh my gosh. But by having it being a scheduled thing, it makes it a lot easier for people because then it's almost like a newsletter. You're going to get it on a certain day around a certain time, that sort of thing, which is a really good idea if you ask me. And then the last one is a little bit on farther down. The person who wrote the article had done a Kickstarter and said he's communicated to his backers. The project updates are sent out the last Friday of every month, which has nearly eliminated cases of backers feeling disconnected or unupdated on the progress of campaigns. This has led to a much more amicable relationship between backers and himself than he sees on many other campaigns that have raised like over $100,000. And if you guys want to read the article, I've put links in the video description to all the articles that I'm using. So if you guys want to read them in depth, they're all there, just so it doesn't get lost in chat. And then the last one was probably the biggest one, but it's the one that I thought was the best, especially considering that I've seen so many manufacturing projects die and I've helped with them. For campaigns raising more than $250,000, there should be some degree of manufacturing auditing required or provided by the crowdfunding platforms to ensure that the project is properly set up to succeed and deliver. I'm not going to name any names here, but there have been a lot of companies with 3D printing projects, because that's something we're all familiar with, that have promised the moon and struggled to deliver you a tiny little baggie of moon dust in comparison to what they were claiming. It goes on to say this would better allow backers to trust that their pledge is in good hands. There would be added costs to the platforms associated with this level of campaign involvement, which could be offset with a small increase in fees applied to the campaign creators' fees. This would be worth it in the interest of maintaining the integrity of the campaign's reputation. I think that last one is a very, very, very good one. When you start getting, personally, when you start getting into the triple digits with funding, you need to have a third party there to be like, look, this is, almost like make it a requirement that you have to meet up with a third party company that specializes in helping small businesses get into manufacturing and almost not so much hold their hand through the process, because I don't feel like that's the proper term to use, but to kind of help guide them through the process to be like, look, okay, this is what you need to do. You've got to have this in place. And if you don't do that and you're not, checking back in with us and you're not actively trying to make an effort, we as the third party will contact the crowdfunding company, and we will have either your campaign paused if they're actively trying but they're having difficulties, or if you're just not making an effort, we'll just have the campaign canceled, period. And I think that, it might not seem very popular, but I think unless a company can prove that they have everything lined up and everything is ready to go, I think that's actually those points, especially the last one, are critical to making crowdfunding work as it should. But the problem is there's just too many people who don't understand the intricacies of it, and sadly have kind of given it a bad name, which is a shame.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely steps that need to be put into place, and it's something that it's slowly evolving, and it will eventually, though. I think a lot of those steps will be brought in to help regulate and control it a little bit better.
Yeah, it's like we were saying before the stream started. It's a little bit like the 3D printers that we use ourselves. They're still so new, and it's like I've said in a previous stream. It's like when VHS players came out, copy machines came out, cameras came out, the internet came out. When a new technology comes out, everybody runs around freaking out, not knowing what to do. People who have nefarious intentions exploit the crap out of it. And then over time, like anything else, it kind of just mellows itself out. Yeah, there's always people who are going to use certain things for nefarious reasons, but that quantity is so much lower than people using it for legitimate reasons that the nefarious people almost always outweigh the legitimate users.
Right.
It's so, but I do feel like crowdfunding has been around long enough that I'm surprised, honestly, that there are not more safeguards in place through third-party companies to do that. Because if you're a third-party company and you're taking, say, 5% cut to help out a company just to be there and give information, and you know what you're doing and you have a good reputation behind it, man, you could make a killing doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
But a good example of when crowdfunding worked would definitely have to be, and also a very good example of things that went right, things that went wrong, and how to learn from it would definitely be Form Labs with their Form 1. When that thing went out, it was just shy of $3 million that was raised. I mean, when they put that thing up on there, I remember if you guys have Netflix, go watch Print the Legend. You'll see kind of the story about Form Labs, how they started out. And you'll see also some of their pitfalls that they made as well, which I feel like if anybody wants to do a crowdfunding, I don't care what it is, they should watch that. And I think it's Netflix also had another documentary. It wasn't as good regarding crowdfunding, but it was interesting because it followed two independent people who were using crowdfunding, and that sort of thing.
We have Angus in the house.
What's up, dude? Angus just made a really good point because chat won't be visible. He says crowdfunding is not evil, but companies like Kickstarter are irresponsible. Yeah, that's very true, and that's something I don't know if you just heard what I said when I was reading the TechCrunch article. It was a very true point that they made about having more safeguards in place, having more auditing in place, things like that. You know, it needs to be there because there's too many people abusing the system and it's benefiting nobody in the end, you know.
We're doing great, Maker. We're doing great at Angus. You know, if you tuned in a little bit earlier, he was eating one of those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I just happen to have a little bit, you know. Oh man, oh, this thing is like so good. Dude, this is like a lit stream tonight. We had Danielle come on. We've got Angus on. Just wait for my dad to cruise in here like, hey, what's up, son?
Had Daniel Norey, he's in the house there for a bit.
He was in there for a bit. He's more of a regular viewer, but yeah, he's definitely cool, if you know what I mean.
He says get them delivered.
Funny you say that. Previously in the chat, Danielle was saying that I should mail you some, so have you guys been conspiring?
I wonder what it would cost to get them there fast enough so they didn't mold.
Pretty expensive. You're probably better off buying a plane ticket, putting them in your bag, and flying them personally to Australia. That'd probably be the cheapest option, quite honestly. Oh, Daniel's still here. Sorry, guys. When nobody's, pretty much. When nobody comments on chat and don't feel like you have to say things, we kind of go, did that person leave? He's still there.
He says $100 a sandwich.
Yep.
I believe it.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. The $2 sandwich that costs $98 to get shipped to your door. Or what you can do, Angus, is you can just come back here for Bay Area Maker Fair. Oh, Danielle's still in here. Oh man, this is like a lit stream right now. Man, this is it's getting so bright in here. I need me my shades now.
Oh God.
Okay, Danielle, do you want to like look up expedited shipping from San Francisco to Sydney, Australia? I think we might all fall over when we see the amount, but you know, it'd be doable. This stream is great.
So how did you put that on your lenses? Did you just use a marker pen or what?
Yeah, I actually bought, I don't know if I have it on my desk. Probably not on here. But I actually just took like a white marker pen and just wrote it on there. But there's a coating on the glasses, which is actually kind of a benefit and a detriment. The paint's actually not sticking very well. So I might just take the paint off and maybe have Curtis make like a custom C-dub sticker or something that goes on there so it looks extra tacky.
Curtis is like, oh God, you drugged me into this.
It was going to happen eventually, dude. It was going to happen eventually.
Angus said that don't let him stop sidetracking you. The only thing is we've been sidetracked since the beginning.
We were so sidetracked from the beginning, we were going straight in the wrong direction. Oh yeah, no, it's pretty much a given. 95% of the stream is 90% of the stream is us blabbing on about random stuff. 5% of the stream is when we get awesome people in the chat, we start blabbing about them, and 5% is like the topic we're talking about that night.
We're getting better though. We stay on topic a little bit longer. I think we were on topic for about 20 minutes before we went off. Yeah,
all things considered, we were doing good. And I'm not trying to brag or anything here, but compared to last stream, I'm actually really surprised at how many people showed up, which is nice, you know.
How many people are in here right now?
Says like 8 watching, but we got a whole bunch of people chilling in chat so that you know what I mean. It's like last time we just like when I last time I hosted it, we had like Rick in chat, and that was it. Like right at the end, it was a little bit awkward because it was kind of like, is there anybody watching? Somebody please say hi in the chat because I'm feeling a little awkward right now. Like I'm talking to a blank auditorium. Oh man. But yeah, so no, it's I definitely feel though, I definitely agree with Angus that crowdfunding has come to the point where it needs more supervision from third party sources. And it also needs people to also realize that crowdfunding is not a way to get rich quick. It's a lot of work. And I think a lot of people, too many people have watched Shark Tank and been like, oh, well, that one person went on the show and then they, something happened and they made a bunch of money. And it's like, that's very, very rare. I'll bet you they get so many applications just in the mail to get on that show, and they weed that down. What you're seeing on a TV show like that or anything in general is so many things have been weeded out. I'd love to know how many Kickstarter campaigns Kickstarter has declined for any number of reasons. They probably get thousands of requests an hour, and then it's up to them to try and pick the ones that they feel have the highest chances of succeeding. And then on top of that, there's still the risk that it might not work.
Right.
It's a lot of work. And, just because you got funded doesn't mean that you get to sit on your butt all day and enjoy the money. It's not easy, but I feel like people need to. I think one thing that should be a requirement is before people do a manufacturing thing, they should go like spend a couple days interning at a manufacturing company in their area to get an idea. Sit down with a designer for coffee or lunch or something. Sit down and talk to people in before you even get started and have them sign off on a piece of paper saying, yes, I explained what you're going to have to go through. Nothing formal, but just to give people who have no understanding of manufacturing an idea of what they're stepping into, and then have them go, okay, yeah, it was a great idea. It wasn't. And that's a little bit of something I'm trying to do with my channel, is show people some of the pitfalls and some of the advantages of home manufacturing, or just manufacturing in general. I mean, really good example of something would be, you guys probably saw it on Twitter earlier today. It's a little keychain that has the Jimmy Shaw's Tidbits logo that was designed by Chris over at Practical Printing. I'm going to be doing a video in a couple weeks about how I make those, because I'm also planning on offering them being custom machined as a service, and I kind of came up with a pricing chart. But to kind of show people, it's like even with something small like that, it takes a lot of work to make it into the final product that you get delivered to your door and you pay X number of dollars for a batch of. It's something that people don't realize is just how much work that even somebody like me, who just gets your file, programs it, puts it in the machine, runs it, who knows what he's doing and has all the equipment in the house to crank it out, it's still a lot of work and whatnot, if you know what I mean.
Right. It is. It's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, or it's like really good example would be the giant copper coin that I made up. That thing has got like at least 2 hours worth of just machining to get to that point. That doesn't even include programming it. I mean, I got the file from Chris, and it still took like an hour to scale it down, get it to the size that everything would work. Then I had to go online and order tooling. Thankfully, I had the copper. There's probably a good 4 hours of work in each coin at the end of the day just to make one coin. Now, sure, if I had a faster CNC machine, I could probably shave some time. But at this end of the day, you can only speed up something so fast. Yeah, Nathan just made a good point. He goes, I do 3D printing even with a finished file. It takes a lot of work. And then he has to get the finished file. Yeah, it's a lot of work. And generally, the designs people have are just napkin sketches that they just made a one-off of the item. So then you have to factor in extra time to reverse engineer it. There's a lot of work that goes into it. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I do for people in the model train community is literally, I'll get a photo, like, hey, can you design up this pulley? Can you design up this steam dome for this locomotive? Can you design up this detail widget? And it's like, yeah, I can do that, but what are the rough dimensions for the finished product that you want? So that way I can scale everything accordingly,
Right.
you know. Oh, Angus made a hilarious good point. He goes, "You mean you want to charge more than the raw material cost? You rip off." Yeah, I'm a total rip off, dude. I'm charging more than the cost of the blanks that it took to make those things, so I can actually do something called turn a profit, buy myself some more supplies or something.
You mean you're wanting to make a profit? That's just
How do you
pure
think how do you think
capitalism.
dude, I am a horrible I am a horrible capitalist who is all about making a little bit of money so I can buy more acetylene for my oxyacetylene rig or put gas in my car, buy more food, you know, things like that. But yeah, it's like that's the other thing is when people price things out, a lot of the time they don't realize how much it's going to cost. Then when they get done, you know, it's they've made nothing or they've actually lost money at the end of the day. And it's like, well, you raised like $250,000. It's like, yeah, but it wasn't enough. You
Right.
know, so many unexpected things came up. You know, it took more design work than you thought, you know.
Can I just pay you an exposure? That's a good one too. That's exactly
I would,
right.
I wouldn't mind some exposure, you know, just saying, you know, if you want to promote my GoPro rig videos, please do, because those things have like measly view counts. You know, just hint, hint. A certain person I might be loaning one of these cameras to when she goes to Europe next summer and potentially goes swimming in some cave thing that she showed me. And I go, I'm loaning you a GoPro rig. You are filming in there. Can I borrow the footage? Oh, man. Well, do we want to just make the last part of this stream, you know, to chat with everybody in the chat sort of thingamajig?
Yeah,
Because we got to
might as
get
well.
chat going. So if you guys got questions for us, you know, please keep them realistic. But I guess we could kind of do it as like a little Q&A session, or if you guys have a topic you want us to talk about or get our opinions on, feel free to comment. It's getting a headache wearing those things.
I can imagine you do.
Trying to like stare through the text on it, kind of going, woo!
Oh, Casey Neistat on us.
But in all seriousness, if you guys are interested in having custom blanks made, I'll post the link in the chat to the Google Doc that I came up with. Pretty much the way it works is if you guys are interested in it, I need a file from you, an SVG of your logo, preferably scaled to around proper size, you know, that sort of stuff. Let me call it up really fast. Yeah, oh, do you want to see the Thingomatic turn on? It's kind of noisy, but I can do that. Give me a sec.
Daniel wants to know when we're coming to Sweden.
I need a passport still.
I do too.
I need some
money.
money. So, because Angus never got to see this, and it's going to be kind of loud, so I'm sorry, but let me switch cameras, actually. Come on. No, wrong camera.
Oh, we're going to see all kinds of stuff here.
Oh, there we go. Let me move away from the light. So it's on right now. Let's see if I can get it to start a print. It's on the SD card. Oh, screw it. It's not going to print very much, but you guys will get to see it running. No, I have to turn it on and prove it to you, dude, because you were like too scared to touch the thing. Okay, come on. Oh wait, wrong file type. Oops. I keep forgetting that S3D exports both a G code and an X3G, and it needs the G code. So as you can see, or you can't see, LCD is turned on. Fan's missing one of its blades, so that's why it sounds a little bit terrifying right now. But give it a minute; it'll start a print. Don't worry, Angus. Don't worry. Oh yeah, it's antique, all right, but it still works, and that's all that matters.
He says you could probably sell it for millions.
It has Norm from Tested.com's signature on it.
Does
But
it?
honestly, yeah. Oh yeah, I totally got him to sign the thing because I knew nobody would believe me
Where do you
when
sign
if
it
I
at?
said on the top.
Show us.
I'll try. The lighting's kind of bad. Oh heck, move the light closer. Amy. Watch me fail at using it again. So let's see.
Alex says that'll make it worth $5 more. Sure
More?
enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Sweet.
Yeah, I wasn't joking. Let me switch back again. But yeah, it runs. So I'm gonna kind of be staring over at the machine for a minute. But yeah, I mean, I'm seriously to this day amazed the thing even prints, to be honest.
What's the build volume on it?
Tiny. Let me show you a comparison. Ultimaker 2 flex plate, Bingomatic flex plate. It's like a quarter the size of the Ultimaker. Oh man. Trying to get some old filament out really fast. Oh, 1 second, guys. I was not counting on a certain celebrity showing up in my chat going, "Oh, this is printer running," but not really. He just came for the PB and J's.
Angus just came for the PB&Js.
Oh man, sorry if I'm like horribly lit right now with the light staring at the machine. Hey, what's up, Keith?
Hey, Keith.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Stream was kind of officially derailed when Danielle jumped in chat and made us lose it for like 10 minutes. She's kind of horrible like that sometimes. She's probably sitting there just like fuming at me right now, like, Grr.
I had
Oh,
my
man.
first serious jam on the D200 last night. I was printing
Oh,
with some of the wood filament, and all I can figure is the extruder is so geared that it just, I don't know, it just forced it in. I don't know if it's heat creep or what, but it actually seized up in the nozzle throat of it. But it's like it over compresses the filament or something. I don't know what's going on.
try
So,
putting a little bit of oil on the filament, actually. It might help.
really?
Yeah. Sounds weird. Just like wipe a little bit of 3-in-1 oil on it. It helps a lot. It sounds weird, but believe me on it.
There it's going.
Go on.
So the build plate moves all around, huh?
Yeah, let me show you guys. 1 sec. Ah, there we go. Sorry if it's a little blurry because I'm on my phone, but yeah, the build plate is what moves, and then the head only moves up and down, and it's not really feeding right now because the filament's kind of stuck because it got kind of smashed. I'm gonna have to fix that a little bit later, but yeah, it does work, and it's nice because it has the LCD screen so you can see what's going on. But yeah, there's proof, Angus. Bingomatic works.
ABS forever, baby.
Yeah, that thing is seriously, it's like a work of mechanical art. I'm not kidding. It's almost beautiful to watch in its own way. We're all just transfixed by it right now. But the crazy thing is, it's running all the stock electronics. The only stuff that's upgraded is it has IGUS polymer bushings in the X, I think also in the Y and the Z axis, and it has my custom extruder and an E3D V6 that I got at Matter Hackers the first time I met Joel, and that's it. The rest of it is all stock.
Wow.
Oh, and it has a Buildtac flex plate. Buildtac, to the best of my knowledge, actually made that flex plate custom just for that machine.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the little thing-o-matic. I'm gonna kill it because it's kind of noisy. But there you guys go.
You have to put a webcam on that sometime and just have it print.
I've actually thought about doing that. That would be kind of fun.
Schedule like a 45-minute print or something like that, and just have it do a live stream with it.
That would be fun. Hey, no problem, Angus. I figured that's one of the things that you would enjoy watching because, you know, it's the thing-o-matic, and it's funny. I'd always wanted an old MakerBot, like a thing-o-matic or a cupcake or an old replicator, kind of like to have as kind of like, this is what MakerBot was before they went to whatever, you know. And it's definitely interesting having an old machine like that that still works and does decent quality prints at that. Let me see if I can find a print that it's done. Oh, remember this, Angus? I showed him this. He thought my Ultimaker 2 did this, and I go, no. This is your little torture lattice cube thing that got scaled down, and I did it on the thing-o-matic, and he was just like, what? What?
Oh man, we got Joel in the house.
Holy. Okay, what's going on here? This is like, this is unheard of.
He's starstruck now.
No. I'm just honestly surprised in a good way, if you know what I mean.
We got Daniel Norray, we got Joel, we got Angus, we got everybody in here.
We had Danielle at one point.
Danielle's still there. We got Keith in the house. Working. We got Alex, Nathan. I think Chris is still in here, and we also have Chris in here. We got a full house.
No joke. Wait, because it's a full house? And I'm still waiting on my shirts from Merch Menu, which I need to find out about, but I think sadly might have gotten lost in the mail somewhere because I haven't gotten anything yet. I gotta rock the Maker coin.
Oh, I got my Jay's 2 cents shirt. I had to. The other day I was watching, I'm like, that's a cool shirt. I gotta have one.
I mean, I'm rocking my ON30 Black Sheep shirt, so I don't really care.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun night up in here.
Eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh yeah. Chris goes just a few peeps short of a brain fart. Just a few peeps short. Pretty much he meant to say just a few people short of a Bay Area Maker Faire reunion party here. Pretty much. All I gotta do is just drag Kat in here, but sadly she's dealing with flooded house issues. Yeah, in short, Alex, I ordered up the shirts before I went to Hostech, which was the other week, and they said they got shipped, but sadly I've not gotten anything yet. So on Thursday I'm going to be down by my mailbox, and I'll just pop my head in and see if anything came in. If it didn't, I'll reach out to them. But lately we've been having a lot of problems with mail issues, and I've noticed a lot of neighbors' mail getting dropped off at our house. Obviously, I use a third-party mailbox service to get packages delivered, but the mail service in San Francisco right now is being run by a bunch of morons. So I wouldn't be surprised if the package honestly got lost in the system. To be perfectly
Chelsea,
honest.
how you doing? Welcome to the chat.
This is the biggest belief right here.
You've got more people in your chat than I ever get in my chat.
You only get the trolls.
I lose like three viewers a week because we go through and ban them all.
It's Great.
7 more months until Bay Area Maker Fair. Man,
Better
it's hard
start
to
that
believe
GoFundMe
you're
account,
that
Angus.
close.
Better start that GoFundMe account. Yeah, pretty much, Nathan. Yeah, my Amazon weed delivery got hijacked by the delivery guys. They decided to get a little blazed up while delivering my shirts. No joke. I had a customer send me like a month and a half ago, try to send me a check to pay for some design work that I'd done because PayPal was giving him fits. Check never showed up, so he just had the bank cancel it, and he's like, "Man, that sucks. Okay, fine, I'll just PayPal you." But yeah, lately, I mean, I've had Amazon packages get screwed up between Fremont and San Francisco. I've had things get stuck in South San Francisco. I think the problem is so many people are ordering things online. The hubs for the shipping companies just cannot handle it.
Yeah.
And stuff's getting missing, stuff's getting lost, stuff's getting stuck in the back room that's forgotten about. It's kind of frustrating, you know. That's
Angus
why I
has got
try,
to fly business class so he doesn't die.
dude. I don't blame you at all. I'll be honest. When I flew the hour flight from Oakland to Burbank for Hostech, that was not very fun. And I've done like 5 and 6 hour flights from LA to Texas, and then like another hour and a half to go from Texas to Florida. It's not very fun. So I can only imagine like a 12-hour continuous flight trying to do that. I don't blame you, dude.
No, he flew
You know,
23 hours from
something crazy. Yeah, because he
yeah.
had to fly like counter rotation or something. So something that took like a lot of time. It was I couldn't do that, to be perfectly honest. Not at this point.
Mm.
I don't know. The idea of being in an airplane for 24 hours, flying continuously over the ocean most of the time, my brain thinks of, oh crap, if we have a Gimli glider out here, we have a Miracle on the Hudson, it ain't gonna be no miracle.
Now, how many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches would that be?
A lot. A lot.
One each every 2 hours.
I'll be honest though, if I had to do a long flight like that, I would totally pay the money to get the internet. Unless I knew I was gonna sleep the whole time, I would definitely pay to get the internet just so I could do Fusion, or I know I couldn't do video uploads, but at least you could do Fusion, check emails, have some movies downloaded on your computer, stuff like that. But yeah, wow, 13 hours to LA. Then New York was like another 5 or 6. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I remember as a kid, my dad's originally from New Jersey. So when I was a kid, back when frequent flyer miles were actually a thing that you could use, shocker. Back in the mid '90s, sometimes we'd fly out to New Jersey, Pennsylvania for like a couple weeks at a time, and that was not fun as a kid sitting in an airplane for like 6 or 8 hours flying across the country. Usually be pushing like 7 or 8 because you'd have weather trying to get into wherever you're getting into. I remember one time we got into, I think it was like, oh, I forget, some airport on the East Coast, and then we had to drive like an hour and a half to get to my dad's mom's house. So we got there like midnight. There was thunder and lightning. My sister and I were super tired, and I'm just like, this is not fun.
Angus said they don't have internet on international flights.
Huh?
Well, no cell
Weird.
phone towers.
Well, I mean, they have, well, yeah, I guess that would kind of make sense. You know, Whatever. I flew Southwest because my mom has like a million points from flying on them. So I didn't pay for the internet. It wasn't worth it for the short flight. And I'd already downloaded a movie from Netflix on my phone. So it was like, no big deal. But I know I know for a fact newer airplanes have Wi-Fi on board. Older airplanes, some of them are not retrofitted for Wi-Fi on board, so discount carriers might not have that.
Mm.
But I don't fly internationally, so I can't say. Curtis was saying once over water, it's a no-go for most carriers. Yeah, I guess that would kind of make sense. Um, Oh yeah, the New Zealand trip that somebody went on. Yeah, I don't blame you. Now this is turning into like, what's the longest time we've sat on an airplane for? I know when my mom flew to Israel, I forget how many hours that was. And they flew out of LA. I think it was a direct flight from LA to Tel Aviv or something like that. And it was like a good 12 or 14 hours on like some discount airline. And my
I
mom
was
goes,
thinking of 16 hours. I had a friend last year that went with his family. I want to say it was a 16-hour flight.
I would say, yeah, that sounds about right. She said by like the halfway point, like the bathrooms were horrible, the toilets were overflowing, and I'm just like, any hopes of me wanting to do that? Yeah, no, thank you. Besides the risks of like falling on a landmine in the Syrian border or something like that. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. So I guess is asking, what's my favorite Kickstarter campaign right now? Honestly, minus the last thing that I funded was the KJ52 Jonah documentary, which is a hip hop artist that was crowdfunding a movie campaign of his, and it was actually kind of interesting. So I threw a few bucks his way for it. I don't keep up on Kickstarter, to be honest. I just, one, I don't have time, and two, I just don't feel like it. But I would agree with Joel on the QB bot. That one's going to be interesting. I don't know a whole lot about it, to be honest, but we'll see.
Garrett's trying to get a CNC. Ooh.
Okay. My 30 seconds of CNC advice are always wear safety glasses. Everything is sharp. Always wear safety glasses. Don't have anything loose like sleeves or jewelry or anything like that near the machine. And wear your safety glasses. And everything is sharp. And I'm not making that up on any of that stuff. I seriously need to do a video about like the dangers of 3D printers versus CNC machines, because CNC machines are becoming a lot more common,
Yeah.
and they're definitely, even if they have a quote enclosure, you can still have a lot of things go wrong. I mean, I don't think I've ever told this story before publicly, but at my old job, I was cutting like a 1 inch by 6 by 12. I'm estimating the sizes here, guys. Plate of aluminum, and we had it secured down to an acrylic table. Somehow, I was cutting it with a 1 inch end mill. Somehow that thing came loose, picked itself up, was spun around by the tool at probably at least 5 or 7,000 RPM. Kept doing that for about 30 seconds. Finally, the tool snapped. It slammed into the side of the machine and literally took like 16th inch sheet steel, tore it where the metal piece hit it, tore it and bent it out like a quarter to half an inch. Literally, it was like you had taken an angle grinder and cut the metal and then like just pushed it out like a little piece of paper. And that's on like a commercial CNC machine. So the odds of that happening on a hobby one are less. But I almost got fired for it, and I would have been totally okay with that if that happened. But like Angus just said, tool collisions are terrifying. Yeah.
Yep.
Tool collisions are terrifying on a CNC machine. Parts coming up is even scarier because, I've seen the safety glass on machines get shattered, not like at that moment, but I've seen the safety glass shattered when things have gone flying in a machine. It's, even though there's safety glass there, I've seen photos of stuff that has just gone right through the safety glass and the safety cage. And it's just like, nobody was standing right there because that was pretty bad. But, it's definitely something that I feel like, and this is not to discourage anybody from getting into machining, but I feel like when it comes to the easier to come by CNC machines, I think people really need to stop and think hard about the safety factor of it and that whole thing. It's like when I made this little brass locomotive shell up on my CNC machine, I'm very careful about sharp edges, and I still managed to scratch my finger a couple of times, and I know what I'm doing. I mean, accidents happen though, but it goes to show that even me, who has a couple years machining experience, still has mistakes happen. You
Yeah,
know,
it's just nature of the beast.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of like it's a little bit like when you do welding. It is not a matter of if you're going to get welder's sunburn, it's
Right.
when you're going to get welder's sunburn.
Right. You're going to get it no matter what.
Oh yeah. No matter what you do, at some point it will happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen, not if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
so just like getting flashed by a welder, it's not a matter of if, it's going to happen.
no matter how careful you are, it will happen. Thankfully, if you're really fast, it's probably okay. But
Yeah.
you definitely don't want to go, oh, sweet weld you're doing right there. Oh man. Not good. Not good. You know. Angus said, most of these desktop ones just use a router and you manually turn it on. Routers cause horrifying wounds. Yeah. In short, my dad has a table saw. My dad's a little bit accident prone, much as I love the guy. He somehow sent, I think it was his right index finger, being super careful, he still managed to somehow send his right index finger into the table saw blade and had to go to the hospital and get stitches. And it wasn't pretty. I was still living in the Bay Area at the time, but I got photos of it and it was like, holy crap, that's terrifying. You know,
Man.
it's I've come close to shredding my fingers with end mills because my finger got a little too close to something and went right by it, and it was like, okay, time out. That was stupid. I gotta stop. You know.
Looks like there's been a few close calls on here and some outright. Right thumb, man.
Yeah,
Both
it's
of his finger through a router in shop class. I
ow.
remember a good friend of mine. He was in shop class and he was working with a table saw. Put his hand right through it. End up, they rushed him to the emergency room. I think they ended up having to reattach one of his fingers. It was bad.
Thankfully, though, I will say that I have not dropped a compressed gas cylinder yet. I have not had the valve break off yet. So, knock on wood, I'm still good in that department. But then again, you should see me when I'm with these gas cylinders. I'm like literally holding onto the thing like my life depends upon it. My welding instructor always gives me a hard time because I'm always like clutching the gas cylinder. I'm like, I don't care. That's how I roll the gas cylinder. I'm not doing this professionally. I'm a little overly cautious. Oh well.
I'll still pick him up. I'm still the type where I'll actually pick him up, put it over my shoulder, and walk with it. I'd rather walk with it than to try to roll it.
I hear you. I remember going to Air Gas to get my gas cylinders, and the dude did that. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. He's like, just like flings the thing from his shoulder and like drops the acetylene cylinder down right next to my car, and I'm like, that's safe to do. Have a good one there, Angus. Thanks again for dropping in, dude. That was seriously awesome.
Yes,
And
thank you very much, Angus. Appreciate it.
I tell everybody that knows me over there in Straya, I say, hey. Oh, you were lucky that you got to go home early that day, Joel. I remember one day in the machine shop class that I was in before I worked there, I was working on making a custom V block and I was roughing out the steel and it was leaving behind these they looked almost like a bread knife edges, like really nasty edges. And I went to turn around and I wasn't looking and I drug my finger across one of the edges and just like sliced it open. And I'm like, oopsies, I cut my finger. So I like walk on over the trash can and I have a tendency to bleed a little more than normal people. So when I get cut, it looks a lot worse than it is. I'm like standing over the trash can, kind of like holding pressure on it. And my machine shop instructor comes back and he kind of looks at me and looks at my hand and goes, I'll be right back. Goes and runs to like get somebody from the school, and they almost, I think they were like this close to calling an ambulance for me. They were like that terrified. I mean, it was a bad cut. Thankfully, it didn't. Nothing bad happened. It healed up fine, but it definitely was a good example of what not to do, and it was painful.
We're
It
losing
sucked.
Joel. Joel, high five.
High five, Joel. Double high five.
Thank you very much, Joel. Appreciate you.
Good one, dude. Thanks for popping in. Well, do we want to call it here before we all just pass out on camera?
I think so. Man, I just wiped out today.
Ditto to
It got up
that.
to 100 degrees, and man, it was not nice working out in that.
It was still hot for San Francisco out here. I mean, it's not been very nice weather. It's been either really cold or really hot, but give it a day or two, it'll be freezing cold again.
Oh yeah, it will. And I think this is probably our last hurrah before we
Hit the
start
rainy
heading into
season.
our winter.
I hear you. Well, I say we should call it a night. I'm crashing fast, and I gotta drive Grandma a few places tomorrow, so I can't be like, what?
Just eat some more peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Was that a red light right there? Oh, is that a cop behind me?
Sorry,
Whoa,
copper.
there goes pull the car over. Just like falls asleep at the steering wheel. No, don't want that.
Yes, we do have a winter. It'll come. What?
In January.
Yeah, about January is when it'll start getting down into the 30s and sometimes into the 20s. It never. Well, it snows once in a very great while here. We're talking like once every 20 years, but
And it
up
melts
there in
in
San
like
Francisco, have you ever had snow?
honestly, if we did, it was probably one of those cases of it landed for like 10 minutes and then melted. So I think it has happened out here, but it's definitely something that does not last very long. And if it does, it's extremely short lived.
Looks like we're losing Danielle too. We better get out of here. Everybody's dropping on us.
He's dropping, including me.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
You too.